There's a big opposition meet that's taking place in the national capital. From sources we are understanding, Mamata Banerjee has proposed Sharad Pawar's name for president at the opposition meeting. He has declined, saying that he still has active political innings to play. Those visuals on your screen at the moment, you see of that big opposition meet that is taking place in the national capital. You can see Akhilesh Yadav, you can see Mehbooba Mufti, you can also see Sharad Pawar and also Mamata Banerjee, who in fact has called for that meeting. You can see Congress leaders as well over there, Randeep Surjewala, you can see Omar Abdullah and several other leaders from there. But again, from sources we are picking up that Mamata has proposed Sharad Pawar's name for president at the opposition meeting. But however, he has declined, saying he still has active political innings to play. So that big opposition meeting taking place in the national capital. Let's go straight across to NDTV's Himanshu, who has been tracking the details of that story on the ground very closely. Himanshu, that big opposition meeting taking place in the national capital, but for opposition meet, there are 5 parties that have said no thanks. What more can you share with us at this moment?
Well, this is the most important thing. This first attempt to forge a consensual candidate from the opposition camp for the next presidential elections. Clearly, the limits of opposition unity has also come to the fore. And the point that you made is very important. See, there are parties who are neither affiliated with the NDA or UPA. They have stayed away from this meeting. TRS, in fact, leader K. Chandrasekhar Rao had a long meeting with party leaders, after which it was decided that TRS will not share a platform where Congress leaders are also present, because TRS wants to project itself as an alternative to Congress in national politics. Biju Janata Dal has always maintained equidistance from both opposition and the government side, and that is also reflected in the fact that no BJD MP is present here. And clearly the expectation in the opposition camp was that if all non-NDA, non-BJP parties come together on a single platform, they can actually pose a challenge to the official candidate that will be fielded by the ruling NDA. But that doesn't seem to be happening. At the moment, sources have told us that there is a proposal in this meeting that a senior opposition leader, assisted by a few more opposition leaders, be appointed and given the responsibility to come out with a consensual candidate who has support of all opposition parties who are present in the meeting today. There is also a talk of a deadline. It has been decided that by 21st or latest by 22nd June, opposition camp must finalize the name of its candidate, get that candidate's clearance also in terms of his or her readiness to contest the elections, so that before nomination, a joint consensual candidate can be fielded against the ruling establishment's official candidate.
Right, Himanshu, in fact, to just stay on that story a little more, it is also it is the political significance of this opposition meet ahead of the presidential polls is also that regional equations and traditional rivalries are sort of on display at the moment. We are also learning that TRS, which is Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, Telangana Rashtra Samiti, has said no. We are also understanding there's the Aam Aadmi Party that is likely to not be part of this. We've not seen that so far. What is the political significance of this, especially on a day in the national capital when we are seeing chaotic scenes on the streets of Delhi concerning Rahul Gandhi's, Rahul Gandhi being probed by the Enforcement Directorate, and the entire Congress party is protesting on the streets of Delhi? What really is the significance of this opposition meet?
It is an important point. See, there are contradictions in the opposition camp. And clearly, when Mamata Banerjee first sent the invitation to around 22 opposition parties and requesting them to send a nominee for this meeting, remember there was lots of questions being raised by leaders of Congress and the left as to why this initiative has come from Mamata Banerjee. But yesterday, in the Sharad Pawar's meeting with Sitaram Yechuri and D. Raja, there was a consensus that if many opposition parties do not join this meeting, that could actually weaken the opposition cause in terms of forging a strong candidate against the ruling NDA's official candidate. And so that is why there was a consensus that all opposition parties, like-minded opposition parties, must attend the meeting today. In fact, I interviewed Sitaram Yechuri a short while ago, and I asked him about the absence of parties like TRS and BJD, whom the opposition leadership actually expected to attend this meeting. He said that we are still waiting for them to take a stand on this issue. Yechuri said that we still appeal to all those non-BJP, non-NDA parties to come forward and help the other opposition parties put up a strong candidate. Our left leaders want that a Pranab Mukherjee kind of a leader should be propped up by the opposition parties. But the problem is that Sharad Pawar has said no. Yechuri said that we wanted Sharad Pawar to become the consensual candidate, but he is not ready. So in that case, there are other non-political names like Gopal Krishnan Gandhi that is being proposed by left parties, whom they believe can be a good candidate from the opposition camp.
All right, Himanshu, thanks very much for joining us with those details.